Well, hello again. Captain Patrick here. Thank you again for your time and your attention today. Again, I mentioned in a recent video, I just returned from a couple of weeks in the British Virgin Islands, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time. Look forward to seeing you, maybe, and buying you a rum drink someday at a local bar, hopefully King Garden Bay. I just wanted to take a few minutes this morning because a lot of the conversations that I've been having with new clients are about, Patrick, I'm not going to be able to get my new boat or even my used boat for a certain amount of time. I talked with a couple the other day that are buying a Sunreef and they're not going to be able to get it for about 20 months. Well, should I go ahead and start the business now in 2022, even though I may not be getting the vessel until the following year or even the following year after that? Generally speaking, and again, I have to keep these videos as a tax expert. I have to keep these videos at 30,000 feet above sea level, but generally speaking, you're better off to begin the business now, today. Go ahead and get the LLC going. I had a gentleman, unfortunately, that was not a member of our firm yet. He wasn't a client yet, and he decided to go ahead and buy his new catamaran in his own name, his name and his wife's name, and then just switch it over later when they got around to opening up the LLC. Well, I advised him to call his lender. That was good advice because the lender said, absolutely not. The loan is in your name, and if you make any attempt to transfer the vessel out of your name into some fictitious entity name, that'll be a problem that you can't fix. So once again, then we had to emergency trying to get the LLC going. So getting the LLC up and running, there's no downside to that. Of course, your expenses to create the LLC or have it created on your behalf, of course, are tax deductible. Go ahead and get some business cards, maybe get a website presence. In other words, if it's going to have a business structure, we have a checklist. A lot of our clients are pilots. They're very big on checklists. People ask me all the time, well, why do you need a checklist, Patrick? Are you not familiar with the information you're giving us? Yes, I am, but I still use the checklist. When you see a pilot, we just flew back from Beef Island Airport back to PR, and the pilot got out of the plane and he walked around and he looked at everything. He pulled his checklist out, made sure that everything was just right because his life and our life were hanging on that checklist. So again, if you're going through the checklist, there's some things you can begin doing now. Start working on the business plan. I had a gentleman that called the other day, and he's one of these people that likes to put stuff off. And I said, hey, good news. Maybe do a little bit of work every week or each month on your business plan. Make sure it's up and running before the yacht gets here, before the yacht arrives. Again, if you are going to a charter vacation somewhere, Croatia, Abacos, Exumas, wherever, and you're considering that particular location that you're going to as a possible base for your new yacht, or maybe you're taking out a 45, or maybe you're going out on a 50 and you have a 45 order. Maybe you're considering stepping up to a 50. That would likely be tax deductible. Again, the IRS recognizes, and I can have these more specific and individualized conversations with you by phone, but the IRS recognizes startup expenses. They recognize a startup phase where you're doing investigating, trying to figure out which is the company, what company should I go with? What's a yacht that's better maybe suited to my family or to my diving operation that I'll be doing, something like that. All of those expenses, again, with certain conditions, are likely going to be tax deductible. So there might be some advantages right now, today, where you could save money literally against your AGI, your ordinary income, right here in 2022. You're not even going to have the vessel delivered until December of 2023. So again, that's where a tax professional that really kind of understands the concept of businesses and then business law as it applies to the charter industry, which is kind of a niche industry, going to be very valuable for you. I have had people that did not get good advice. Someone later referred them to us. They became clients of the firm. We had to go back and amend their earlier tax return, which was prepared incorrectly, not necessarily by incompetence on the part of the tax professional, but information that was not provided to that tax professional because the client just didn't know what was deductible and what wasn't. I had a gentleman that called the other day, quick story, a lawyer, nice guy, and he said, Mr. Worley, please be advised that this conversation that we're about to have with my client, I'm going to bring my client onto the telephone, is going to be a very short call if you answer this next question incorrectly. I said, okay, well, what's the question? He said, are you going to prepare, is your firm going to prepare and sign the K-1, the income tax return itself, the actual LLC creating the K-1? I said, yes, sir, we are. He said, great, we can keep talking. Because he said, I don't want to do this. I don't have your background. I don't have the understanding that you do, being not only a competent maritime person, but also having had many boats in charter, including one right now. So again, he said, if you'll handle that part of it and you'll give us the K-1, we've been working with this client, very wealthy gentleman, for many years. We know where all the bodies are buried, and we know exactly what to do. On our end, we just didn't want to take on the additional responsibility of the actual physical preparation of the return. So again, we do that. We do a lot of them. We're good at it, and we're always here again to answer questions, help you, give advice to the extent that we can over the telephone. Always here to help you and serve you. So again, looking forward to running into you, not literally, but running into you in King Garden Bay one day soon. Again, keep this information. Startup businesses now versus startup businesses later make a big difference in your tax return this year. Thanks very much. Captain Patrick out.